All right, we want to be done for 7, so why don't we start the meeting now, okay? I'm going to start the meeting now. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance while I got a flag behind me, so if you don't mind. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. All right, we have one member who was away, so she cannot make it to the meeting, but we do have another member. We have a quorum of 3. We have a 4th member who should be here any minute now. So let's start, and the first item of business is approval of the minutes of October 26th, 2021. Looking briefly at them, I just noticed that there was no members listed for motions made and seconded, so we just want to add those.
I don't have those in my notes.
No, we'll ask her to add those.
Okay.
You know, it's not a big deal.
Okay, and on the last paragraph, discussion on 40B, if a developer wants to build it, would be necessary to meet with AHT should be amended to, Scott will insist that any developer meets with AHT first.
Right, and I know Scott mentioned that he would ask any developer to come in and meet with us so we can, you know, maybe hash out some details and get some benefits. So we have an amendment. Any other questions on the, any comments on the minutes? I'll accept the motion as amended. Anybody want to make it?
I'll make the motion.
Motion?
Amend to accept the minutes as amended.
Okay.
Okay, I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, members present. Okay, discussion of grants received. So Liz Shea is kind enough to meet with us, and are you kind of like the quasi-grant writer, or you are the grant writer? Among all many
Right.
other hats that you're,
So, yeah, I guess that would be
okay?
part of my new role. So Scott made me the assistant town planner July 1st, and I started working additional hours November 1st, I think. It's all such a fog now. But as part of that, I was doing grant applications on behalf of the town. So you guys have 2. One is with Mass Development, and that's not cash, it's services.
Okay.
So right now,
And now who does the services? Does Mass Development do them? Would
yes,
they-
Mass
okay.
Development is gonna do everything. So
Okay.
they're gonna hire somebody, they're gonna engage, they're actually in contract negotiations with Judy Barrett right now.
Okay. and
So
know
I
her-
can tell you that.
Right, and I know her name has been thrown around here. She's supposed to be very,
Yes.
okay.
She's supposed to be very knowledgeable.
Yes.
I've spoken with her a couple of times. She is very knowledgeable.
Is that just because you spoke with her, you know she's knowledgeable? Because
Well,
you spoke to me sometimes.
that's
and,
true.
You know, and
And I might not say that.
okay. All right.
Only kidding.
All right.
No, I did that 40B Zoom with her, and
Yeah.
she does have a ton of information. She's been doing this for years. So they are currently in negotiations on a contract and a scope of services with her.
Okay.
Apparently they're to a point where they're looking for, I want to say like floor plans or something to be included. And she's like, that's not in my bailiwick. So I think that they just need to tweak and fine tune what her services are going to be with the 25,000.
Okay. Now, what exactly is she going to do? I think there's some confusion as to what she's going to be doing.
Right, so she is, in my mind, they're going to evaluate the Center School for Housing.
Okay.
That's the scope of service we asked for.
Okay.
That's the scope of service they should provide, and that should take into account the parking, landscaping, distance to the train, kind of all of that stuff is all supposed to get evaluated as its suitability for housing.
For housing in general.
Housing in general.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's affordable housing in general.
Affordable housing, okay.
I think in order to restrict for seniors, you can build them that way as 1 bedrooms, or it's getting harder to age restrict
Okay.
as we move along, because there's a huge need for family housing, affordable family housing.
Yeah.
I think if you guys want those numbers, Jen can get them for you, but they're crazy outrageous of the list of people who are waiting for affordable housing in this town. Anyway, I digress. So anyway, they have $25,000 in services they're gonna provide. So I think I sent you all the general scope of services we were looking for.
Did we get anything?
I thought you did,
I don't remember seeing
or get
anything.
talked about. This would have been months ago.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, it's taking some time to plug
Okay.
through. They're going to,
So that's $25,000 worth of services.
worth of services.
To look at the center school.
To evaluate it.
To see if it's suitable for affordable housing.
Yes,
Okay,
yep.
all right.
And whether that be the building comes down, that recommendation, or that the building can be rehabbed, I think you should have that answer at the end
Okay.
in the report that they provide.
And that survey, you called it a survey?
Yeah,
That
evaluation,
evaluation would go a long way for the next step if we decide to.
absolutely. So
Okay.
then you can engage a developer
And we have
and
that.
say, this is the condition of the building,
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
We just had this done 6 months ago.
yeah,
This is where we are in this project, this is what we want to do.
okay,
And so maybe we give you, maybe the entire project is affordable, or maybe a portion of it's market rate. However you guys determine you want to do, how you want to negotiate with the developer, but this will be your,
yeah,
all your information to do that.
okay.
At the end of the day, you should have everything you need from them for the
Okay.
center school. We were trying, because you also have, hello,
Wait,
Hi, Mike.
We just started.
you also have a budget earmark.
Is this the other?
This is the other
Okay,
one.
Yeah, I want to hear about both of them, and then we can ask questions. 'Cause
All right.
I'm a little confused as to, I thought, well, we'll talk about
I know,
that.
I thought that was cash too, it's not, it's services.
Okay, so
So,
that's 25,000 in
Mass-
services.
So Mass Development is 25,000 in services, and they're gonna look at the center school.
Okay,
The earmark is $25,000 in cash.
yeah,
We were trying to combine the funds and get the center and the north school done, and maybe Glenowitz Way,
right.
because more bang for your buck, and the state will not let us do it. Because Mass
They require
Development-
just one,
Well, Mass Development is a quasi-state agency, so they
Okay.
will not allow us to use our cash to pay Mass Development.
Okay, all
I
right.
kid you not, I was like, really? Because it would make much more sense if we could just do this all in one fell
when you
swoop.
say earmark, that's from the state budget?
The state budget,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Now, can I ask why we're so focused on the center school?
Actually, hold on a second.
Okay, sorry.
Because she talked about that a little bit.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine, and we want, a lot of people want to go to the 7 o'clock, we want to get this meeting done.
Yeah.
So finish this one,
I'm
and
so
then we'll go
sorry.
back and ask the two questions.
No, it's
'cause,
fine.
Okay.
She did actually explain a little bit, but
Okay.
I'm dying to hear
Yeah.
what this 25,000 is going to be.
So the $25,000, Scott wants to have the house doctors and perhaps Judy try to get her on board for this and do Glenowitz Way. See what could go down there and come back to you guys with a potential, like conceptual plans of what could be there, only because it's right across from senior housing. So that would make a great deal of sense to have senior housing down there. We own the land.
When you say
Glenowitz
Glenowitz
Way,
Way.
those 4 parcels of land we bought.
But you mean on wait, actually.
It's on the
on
high
this
school side.
On the high school side?
On the high school
Not
side.
on the senior housing side?
Nope, on the
So-
high school side, across from senior housing,
so
that
the
empty,
town- That the town built?
that the town
Oh,
purchased.
Okay.
He's looking to put housing there.
Who's he?
Scott
Okay.
would like to see senior housing go
He
there.
would like to see senior housing
Yeah.
out there, okay, all right.
Liz, may I interrupt for a moment?
Sure.
So where is this 25,000 coming from? Is this also
It's
from Mass
a,
Development?
no, it's an earmark in the state budget.
Okay,
That's what they call it. They
Okay.
earmark it or put it aside.
okay.
But
Thank
now
you.
that would, the town owns that now, so we wouldn't
Yeah.
have to pay for that either?
No.
Okay,
Right.
all right.
No, so he's gonna have them look at it and potentially come up with conceptual plans.
Now, when you say, who's gonna look at it?
It's gonna be, he's gonna have the house docs. He's got a house doc here, or a couple of them house doctors.
Is that
It's
the
a
name?
company,
It's a
right?
company.
Yeah, well, we've engaged a company, they're generally known as house doctors and kind of, I wanna say kind of jack of all trades,
Right.
Yeah.
but with
Yeah.
some specific
Okay.
skills. Like they have the house doctors looking at both of these buildings,
Okay,
windows, roofs, We appropriated that money at town meeting
Okay.
to see what needs to be done to keep these buildings in good shape. So
Gotcha.
they're actually reviewing those now.
Okay.
Yeah, because I thought they did more repair type work. I didn't realize they do like development
That's
and
interesting.
building.
Well, they say your roof needs to be repaired and it's gonna cost you X amount, and this is why. Right, you have a hole or this is out of,
But there's
Code.
nothing on that strip of land, right?
there's nothing there. It's
Okay.
a blank canvas.
Right.
Which
Okay.
makes it very easy because you're not worried about rehabbing a building, you're not
Right.
worried about
No, I was just,
lead or asbestos or anything in there, right? It's just a blank
Yeah.
canvas. Yes, so Scott believes that between Judy, Barrett, and house doctors, they can come up with maybe conceptual plans, which again, would be attractive to a developer. You
Right.
could negotiate with the
They're already-
developer at,
okay.
right, because you're almost, I don't want to say you're almost to construction, but you've got conceptual plans of what could actually go there.
Yeah.
How many people could live there, all of that.
Yeah, okay.
So fire at will.
Okay, I guess the first question is, what about, the initial thoughts that we talked about and discussed at length was that we want to also look at the North School.
So the center school and the north school are identical buildings.
Right,
So I think the thought is if we get the center school report, that now you do have pretty much a north school report because they're the same age. I think one is worse than the other right now, actually. I'm not sure. Wayne Norling
I
knows
thought
which
the
one
North
is
School
it.
was worse, but yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And then maybe you'd have to spend your own money bringing that to a point where it would be palatable
Right.
to enter into
Because
discussions.
there was talk at our meetings, we didn't take any formal votes on any of this, but
Right.
we could at any point, but was that maybe sell the North School to a developer requiring affordable housing in there, and then the profits that the town made could be, now then be funneled to the center school to accomplish what we wanted to accomplish there.
Yeah.
That's what I thought we discussed.
Okay, that, I haven't had that conversation with Scott, so I wasn't aware of that piece of it.
That's the only reason I was surprised when the center school came up first, because I thought maybe the thought was to try to, and Scott was in there for the meeting, he actually, he shook his head and said, yeah, that sounds like a
Okay,
plan. but-
the communication with me was the center school to either rehab for housing or put housing there in some way, shape, or form.
Right, to determine if it's,
Right.
that's from day one, we've been asked to
Right.
find out if the bones are good enough to do something.
Right.
You know, so.
So I think maybe that's why he, with this grant, because it was for services,
Yeah, okay.
that he went that way with that. I mean, you guys have a fund, there's CPA money.
Right.
You could get the report on the center school and at least have a starting
start.
point and have somebody go look at the North School.
Mhm.
Or you could take it and say, listen, this was the center school, the North School is the exact same school, but in worse condition, and
But
what do you
more-
want to
but
do?
more land.
Right,
Better location.
right.
Okay, yep.
Yeah. I'm just wondering why they wouldn't look at the school that's in worse condition. Because that might need. you know
Maybe
what I'm
because it would
saying?
need more work, right? So it would be less
But then
attractive.
you'd have a good, but then you'd have a better idea of,
Yeah, I don't know, he thought center school for housing. I didn't have a conversation with him when I was applying for these grants about getting the North School evaluated to sell. I guess, right, that's what you're looking to do,
I
to
don't-
potentially
I
sell.
don't think the North School, I'm not an expert, and I'm not a house doc or anything like that.
Yeah,
I don't think the North School could be used in its form. I think it would have to be,
probably
you
not.
know, but,
Well, you'd have to gut it,
yeah,
I think.
exactly.
From what I've heard anyway, I don't want anybody to take my word as gospel, but from what Wayne has said, there's been some
Is the-
damage, water
I
damage,
can
and,
actually, I'm gonna ask Mike a question. Is the fire station definitely, not definitely, but they want it up here rather than the North School, right? That's what the, I
Yeah,
understand.
but that
still-
might also be a problem, because although that may be everybody's hope,
Right.
are they doing a study to see where it would go better?
I
Is that where we were?
believe now we're doing we earmarked the whatever, however million, was it three?
Yeah, at
3.2
town meeting,
something? Yeah.
but I think it was to see where it would best,
It's a more detailed study now,
Right.
like,
Where it would best go on that property. Or no?
I
let's
think
go
it
with
was,
town.
I think it was in town. I'm not
Okay.
sure. We
All right.
can,
Well, maybe
I can
that's one
confirm
reason.
that with Scott, but that might be,
That could be one of the reasons.
like, he
why.
might have that information and be, well, that's why we're gonna do center school first and Glenowitz Way, because the senior housing's right across.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
that could be, I don't wanna speak for him, but that sounds
Okay.
reasonable to me.
We can obviously vote to ask some questions or
Yep.
whatever, so. Any other questions for Liz about at least around the two, I'm not gonna call them grants, but even the one.
The grant and the earmark.
The grant and the earmark.
Yeah, I just call them grants, because in my head, they're all grants.
Any other questions or concerns about that?
Um,
Now,
the-
you had to draw up an RFP? Or-
No, not yet. We had to do
Oh,
a
not
scope
yet.
of work
Okay.
of
scope
what we
work.
wanted,
Yeah.
which they have.
And that's already been done?
That's already been done.
And the scope of work is what? Oh, did you say you said that to us?
I thought I sent it to you.
And that's basically just look at it and tell us if it's,
Yeah.
okay.
Town of Abington has been awarded a $25,000 real estate technical assistance grant for a feasibility study of the center school.
What date was that?
This is November 4th. It's an email I have from Mass Development. And the scope of work may include the following: evaluate the condition and useful life of the existing structure, determine the potential impact on existing sewer and water supply, abatement requirements, infrastructure impacts, and other considerations for housing reuse.
Okay.
So that's the scope of work that they got.
And then they're gonna use that to draw up an RFP. Who draws up the RFP? Us?
So I think you would work with Scott and maybe Judy Barrett to do that. I'm not sure if she would be
She'd
on
probably be the one.
board for the RFP, but I think once you get the information you need, that like all that data is collected and it's in a report,
Mhm.
you guys make a determination on what you want to do. Do you bring a developer in? Do you try to do it out of your own trust? Like, you guys figure out which direction you want to go in.
Okay, all right. Any more questions about, do you have any questions, Ron?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
can I ask a
Yeah,
question?
absolutely.
Okay.
I don't have to answer it though.
No, you can, I just wanted the floor to have.
Well, the whole feasibility study, take into consideration also the area around it, or just, are they just doing the building? Because
Yes, no,
you
it
got
would,
I mean, they're the same building, but one's secluded and, not great access for, other places around it. There's not a lot of things around it, but then the other one, your school, you got, North Avenue Center right
no,
around the
but you
corner.
do have the train right down the street,
Just the train.
which is attractive to some people.
Yeah,
Well, can I interrupt?
but I mean, that's why, we should probably,
Because the thing that was online, that sounds about a transient, was there?
It's in the transit-oriented district, I think.
That's-
Is that, I think that land is in the transit-oriented district.
What?
I didn't give them that information. They
Center school?
scooped it up themselves, yeah.
The center school is R30,
Is it R30?
yes.
Then they have it wrong. I did not give that information to them.
It's on there.
I saw that posted, I was kind of shocked by that, so.
They would need zoning changes.
Well, they would need relief, and that part was in the grant. That if they wanted to do you guys would need relief if you wanted to do multi-unit dwellings. You would have to go to the zoning board of appeals for that relief.
Mhm.
And they could turn it down.
They could. They could. I think Scott's plan is, and not plan, I think, as part of this, that the ball field would be cut off. You do an A&R plan, get the ball field to be its own parcel of
Right,
land.
it's already kind of been split, so.
Yeah, I think to officially
Yeah.
officially
We
do
had
that.
talked about that in the surplus school building committee,
Yeah,
in any account,
keep the
Yeah.
fields,
keep the field.
yeah.
And it was voted at a town meeting too, for that purpose.
Right.
It was voted to split it apart, so that's,
Yeah, I think it actually just needs to, you have to
actually do it, yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And that would probably be, when we get to that stage, that would be part of the documents.
Right, if that's what the recommendation.
If that's what-
I would
yeah.
imagine it would be.
Whatever you guys decide to do. I think whatever you decide to do, that would have to be done
Mhm.
by somebody.
I didn't mean to interrupt, you have another question, or?
No.
Okay. So, I'm not asking for correction, but maybe get some clarification on this whole transient thing. It was something on,
And that, in the press release from Mass Development?
yeah, it was on the town website, right? On
Yeah,
the
she
town-
just posted, he must, all right, so I'll look at that. I gotta be honest with you, I didn't even read
To be honest
it.
with you, if we got this 25,000 services, whatever it is, grant, under the auspices that it's a transient district, then there could be some issues, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely not what the,
Okay, all right.
that's not what the scope of services said.
Okay,
The part of the grant application, I said it's within X distance
Right.
from the train station.
right.
So if people were taking the train, they could walk to and from, but in no way, shape, or
Take their
form.
life in their hands because there's no sidewalk. on
Correct,
Summer
there's
Street.
that, there's that.
We have to go down the other
Traffic's
way.
crazy. The
Yeah.
traffic is,
So, yeah, no, it was never presented that way at
Okay,
all.
yeah.
We didn't ask for it that way, that's not how the scope of work came back, so,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, does anybody have any other questions on discussion of the grants received? Grant and earmark. Okay, so that's 2550. Mass Development Feasibility Study Progress, is that what we're talking about?
That's what we're talking
That's what
about.
we're talking about, the
Yep.
$25,000. We just talked about that.
Yep, so, yeah, right now, up to date is contract negotiations with Judy Barrett, they're trying to get her on board to do it.
Okay,
They're looking for floor plans. I had that conversation with Scott, he thinks you're gonna have to use the house doctors to do that piece of it, because that's not part of her bailiwick. So,
okay.
but that's, right now, that's all a mass development negotiation.
Right.
So we'll let them go at it until they come back to us and say, we can't do everything you want or whatever, so. And just so I told you guys when I got here about that legislation, the bylaws have been promulgated by the state on the multi-unit family dwellings in a transit-oriented district. So that's coming up, and I think this,
Is the North School considered a transient? Because
No.
it has to be near the station, right?
yes,
Okay.
has to be within a certain distance from the station. I think the North School might fall in the central business district, it's very close.
Mhm.
You would probably be able to get money for sidewalks and pedestrian crossways from MassDOT for that.
Yeah.
That probably wouldn't be too hard of a sell. And I think there's a lot of money starting to float out there for affordable housing because there's such a need for it.
Yep.
So I will leave you with that. When those opportunities come up, we will be sure to try to grab them, and you guys will be the first to know.
But don't leave it. Why
Okay.
did I write down in capital improvement needs? Was that a question you asked?
So I sent you guys, that was another grant I got, we're having a capital improvement plan done
Mhm.
by the Collins Center.
What exactly does that mean? Is that ties in with the town's capital plan?
It is the town's
Is it
capital plan.
5 years?
They're
10
gonna
years?
do a 5-year capital plan
5 year,
for
okay,
us.
5-year capital plan.
So their suggestion was to reach out to everybody.
Okay,
Because you never know what somebody's capital needs might be. Like the veterans agent probably doesn't really have a lot of capital needs, but he needs, I can't even remember what it was he needs, but he's starting to replace some flagpoles. That's not really a budget item, right? Because
Right,
that's
yeah.
more costly, so he's trying to, so that would be more of a capital thing that they could include. That's just an example. So if you guys think of something that would be a capital item that you would need,
but like more senior housing is not considered a capital?
no.
No, it'd be something that's,
No, that they would
Yeah.
say that could come out of your CPC money, or, you know what I mean, that's,
but if we wanted like dibs on the town planner, that might be part of the capital?
Nope.
No, okay.
no,
So it's not services.
it's not services,
No.
it's stuff.
It's
It's
Do you have an
stuff.
example of what we could?
For you guys, not specifically, their general recommendation was to reach out to everybody, because you can't possibly know what everybody in town could possibly have in their head that they might want. But for the fire station, it would be a new building.
Right.
For the sewer department, it's a new building. Those are like some big
capital plan.
capital plan projects that are gonna have to be addressed at some point. But it would be like a truck,
Right, I just,
Yeah,
for
work
the
on this
affordable
building.
housing, what would-
Yeah, no, I
can't think of
don't
anything that we
know
would
what you would need.
as
But their,
capital.
their suggestion was to do that, because I couldn't think of anything like the
Senior-
veterans
senior
agent would be, but
housing
then he
building.
was like, well, I'm gonna need this and I'm gonna need this. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
Right, so they know what they're doing.
Right.
So they just said to let everybody know, so everybody got an email. If you guys think of anything, let me know and I'll be happy to pass it along.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if you're gonna need a car to go driving around, just saying.
Can you send us that November 4th email, just so we have
Yep.
that? You have all the members, if you don't mind. Up here.
Yeah,
And I appreciate you coming, Liz. Before you go, any other questions for Liz? No, and then let us know when
when that contract is finalized
yeah,
with Judy, yeah.
yeah. And then, but at that point, I'm sure there'll be a time frame as to when the evaluation
That's when they'll
will be
give,
done.
that's exactly what they'll put that,
And then we had, as a board, have to decide how, if we're gonna do anything with the North School, whether we're gonna do a study. We have funds, we're probably gonna be getting more funds. You know, maybe we could somehow, as soon as, Judy, as soon as you're done with this, go here.
right, or
Because
if,
you already got the background, you know what the building looks like.
right, and if Scott's gonna get house doctors to do conceptual plans for down there,
Mhm.
you might wanna tag that on, could you, here's the center school there, the exact same building, and the bonus round to that is Jason Len dropped the plans off. So they're not in great shape, but the plans have been sent to Mass Development, but they're the same plans, so we would have them for both.
Now, if this was, and this might be, not your bailiwick, is that what they call it?
My bellywick.
You say it much better. Now, this property up here on Glenwood's Way, now, if the town was to develop it for senior housing,
Yep.
you know, using town money or, you know, federal money, probably, hopefully, state money, would it revert to the housing authority afterwards? Or would the town have to vote for that?
I think that would be your decision.
Right, okay.
Um,
So the town could theoretically own it, but yet housing authority run it like a 100-year lease or something like that. but-
Right, I think it would work sort of on the same lines as Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah,
We've donated land or sold it for $1.
yeah,
And then Habitat,
yeah,
it is the landlord, for lack of a better word, right?
yeah.
They build the house and then they deed it over
Well,
to the
this
person.
happens all the time, so I'm sure it's not a big deal, I'm sure it can
Right,
happen.
no, somebody can figure that out.
Mhm.
Somebody with a higher pay grade than us.
Well, the town manager just walked in, I don't know if that was coincidence or
Right.
or irony.
When we
but-
said higher pay grade than us? Yeah.
All right. Any
So
last-
anything else, feel free to shoot me an email. I'll let you know what I can, but as soon as I get that information, I'll be happy to shovel it along. I would not expect anything until the end of the month
Oh, yeah, not so much,
because
yeah.
it's the ho-ho holidays.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Everything is grinding to a
I'd
slow
be
stop, right?
Shocked if we got anything before the
Right.
first.
Actually, Mima called me back today on something. I was like, wow. So,
Thanks again for coming.
you're very
you.
welcome. Have fun tonight.
We're almost done, so. All right. Status update on CPA Phase 1 eligibility application. I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never been on this end of the CPA, so I don't know how it works. I know you have to fill out an eligibility form, and then you have to fill out the actual application. We filled out the eligibility, we got it in. Now, I assumed the CPA would contact us and say, okay, you can move on to the next round and fill out your application. They're due by January 4th. And I haven't got it, I'm gonna pursue it further. I'm gonna reach out to Bruce Hughes, and I've already reached out to Kelly, just what do we need to do? You know, do you tell us, no, you're not eligible, and we just, okay, sorry, or do you tell us you're eligible? I mean, you would think that there'd be liaisons to come and talk to us, so I'd like to find out what's going on with that, because I really don't know what's happening. I mean, I did talk to Kelly, she didn't have her documents, and she just said, well, I don't have your application. I go, well, I didn't know I was supposed to do an application, because I
Right.
would think it, I guess we're eligible, and they obviously have to give us some money. Well, they have to earmark at least 10% of their budget for housing. It could be, it doesn't have to be to the housing trust, it could be to other housing aspects, but, so I really don't, I'll have more, and I will, if it's a board, okay, I'll fill out the second application, because we won't be meeting until after January 4th, and just,
Yeah.
basically, we talked to, I think we asked for $300,000 for
Yeah.
a number of different things, including first home buyer's loan, and to have funds available in case we do last minute stuff, so if that's all right. Meeting schedule for 2022. Do we want to try to make it, the second Wednesday of every month, or third Tuesday? Do we want to try to make it that way, just so we kind of know we can post them 6 months at a time?
Probably make your life easier trying to chase all of us down,
Yeah, it's tough because people,
And
and we're all
So-
we all meet,
we're all
we're
doing
all
other
in
stuff, I
meetings,
know.
So Housing Authority meets the third Wednesday. We already had to change the April one to the second Wednesday, and we're going to have to change I think the May one, to the second Wednesday as well. So maybe a day other than Wednesday,
Yep, absolutely.
would be good.
I like Tuesdays or Thursdays, or but
Yeah, I'd
again,
rather not do Monday if
No.
possible.
no,
There's
it's
too many
one
meetings
of
going
selectmen
on.
meet then too. So at least for a few more months, right? So
I'm good either one, either.
Tuesdays or
Tuesday
Thursdays?
Yeah.
Thursday, yeah.
And the Council on Aging, I think they're the third Tuesday, and I like to go to them, so maybe the second Tuesday? We can try
Second
second
Tuesday?
Tuesday?
That's fine. So what I will do is I'll have her make that a regular meeting. Let me just check January 1st, because that might be let me check the month of January 1st, only because it might, second Tuesday.
Second Tuesday is the 11th.
No, that's not bad. Okay. Yeah, so what I'll do is, I will send you guys, we'll just do 6 months, just because, and we can call other meetings too, but at least that'll be our regular thing, and people will know, and, none of this, let's have a meeting when this person is able to come to the meeting. Say, no, but this is when our meetings are, you should be able to come home.
Right, and then if we have them written down, we can plan around them.
Yeah.
Okay. So second Tuesday of every month.
So we'll do it for 6 months initially?
Yeah, and halfway through we can keep going.
Okay.
Because I honestly don't know, I don't know what the makeup of the board's gonna be like, if it's gonna change or anything like that.
And Jen's work schedule can always change too.
Yes, exactly. So,
She never knows.
does anybody else, anything want, to discuss anything else that's on the agenda, but anybody have any concerns? Do we have any concerns about what we just heard about the grants? Am I shocked? I'm not shocked, but I'm really not that concerned, but it's not exactly what I thought was gonna happen. But I guess we can't look free money and give money, and we have money that we can do our own thing too, if we want to, so we'll probably
How
discuss
much
it.
money do we have?
I would try to get a handle, I actually wrote it down, but I forget what it was, but,
Okay.
I think it's maybe $250,000 maybe, I think. But you know what, when I reach out to CPA, I'll ask them, we should get a status, account status on that.
I got a quick question.
Yep, no problem.
They're talking about the feasibility study at Center School, but then an RFP, that request for proposals
Request for proposals for that.
for that.
For
But who
that.
does the request for proposal? A developer that wants to do something there, or you
No,
as a board put out the request for proposal, say this is what we want, or?
Liz just said we would work with Scott and possibly Judy for our.
The town manager would do that, I believe.
Okay.
I think for them to hire Judy Barrett, they kind of have to do an RFP for that evaluation, so that falls under the criteria. And then she's gonna come back and give up her recommendation, but we wouldn't do any RFPs for projects up there until well after we get the evaluation in our hands, so. That's my thoughts. I would like to do something with the North School though.
Yeah, I'm not happy with this fixate. It just seems like everyone's fixated on the center school. I don't think that's right.
No.
I think we need to look at everything.
All right,
And I understand why,
Yeah.
I get you're comparing the two,
Yeah.
but look at
And
the,
don't say, because I had nothing to do with it.
No.
And I get that, maybe they looking at the North School and go, ooh, it's kind of falling down. And say.
where the center school's nicer,
and-
they're probably
right, and
thinking.
they're both the same floor plan, so they
Yeah.
can get a good idea what the North School looks like by looking at the center. Because I guess, basically, if you look at the center school and they go, it's not gonna work, then you know the North School's not gonna work.
Right,
So
that's
maybe
true.
that's the way they're looking at it.
I just hope we,
So why don't we, for the January agenda, why don't I ask Scott, tell him our concerns,
yeah,
and maybe we can vote on it too. We'll tell him our concerns,
Yeah.
and then say, we want something we want to somehow either get an expert in there or the house docs or whatever to look at the North School. Tell us.
Mm-hmm.
You tell us outright, no, you don't want, stay away
No
from
way,
that.
stay away,
Or you need some further evaluation. Okay, then we'll get some further evaluation.
Yeah.
So, if someone can make that in the form of motion, we'll say, we voted at the meeting, we want to investigate further. We want to do an evaluation of the North School also. The feasibility of, if housing, basically, we'll just say the same thing that the center school is going through, we want to get that done and if we have to pay for it from our trust fund,
Yeah.
it will be worthwhile in the long run, so. Does that sound like, because I agree with you, because we were gonna look at three things.
Yeah, and now
they're only
everything I
looking-
read is center school, center school,
Yeah,
center
and-
school.
and so now they're only looking at two things.
It's been
Yeah.
very centralized and.
I just
we're-
worry about that.
We're
But,
getting slammed.
and you don't think it
in.
has anything to do with the holding on to it in case they need it for the fire station?
I really don't, because it's just, I can go to my guys and
Yeah.
talk to them and
Because
just.
they may be leaving that in the back burner, like,
Yeah.
we may actually need it, so please don't do anything with it, but it
It
doesn't sound like they
It could
were,
be, but I'm pretty
Ron-
sure the
Ron might
North
know the answer
School,
to that too,
I'm
but,
pretty sure my understanding was the North School, it's like last resort
Yeah,
type thing, but really not feasible.
right.
And North School is a blank canvas. It's like, it's cleared.
Yeah.
You have all of that property,
I
you know.
agree.
And for the not in my backyard people, that's in my backyard, the North School, so.
Yeah, although there's gonna be those people too, and if.
And
for
I'm more than willing
and there'll be-
to have them
and-
look at
And I
it.
would not be surprised if the people up here in these condos are gonna say the same thing.
I
about
know,
that.
I know.
It's just human nature.
No,
They already
no, I
know.
get it, I know,
And,
yeah.
Yeah,
All
they
right.
already have.
so,
Yeah.
do we wanna make a motion that we, ask Scott, how do you wanna do it? How do you wanna word it? I mean, the board feels strongly that we should do an evaluation of North School, please make that happen,
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, in no uncertain. Basically what you said, I'll make that motion.
Okay.
So you have something to write. Let's see. The first thing you said was pretty good.
The board feels strongly, that's not really a vote though, is it?
No, that's an opinion.
Make a motion.
To include North School.
Why don't we just do this? Rather than make a motion, just say, we'll take a vote on the sense of the board. The board feels strongly that we should investigate and do an evaluation of the North School as well.
As well.
And we would like to discuss that in more detail or vote on it at our January 11th meeting. Does that sound agreeable to the board?
Investigate and do evaluation of North School, and vote on it at January meeting.
Right, and we will discuss and vote on that, because he might come back and say, we did investigate a little bit, we determined, that, they might come back and say,
Yeah.
if you don't mind, can you wait another 2 months, because we are looking at it for, there might be something we don't know.
Right, yeah, and that's, at least we'll have
And they
some
still
sort
let
of
him
an
know,
answer.
so. And then if, what I'll do in the meantime is I'll reach out to Scott and Liz and say, we want to move forward with the North School too. Okay, because that was part of our plan, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
we're gonna need money, and it sounds like we're gonna sell this property, but that's gonna help with our committee's goals of affordable housing, so in the long run. All right, anything else anybody wants to discuss? You've got that? Yeah, I think that's good, it's a sense of the meeting, we don't, nothing formal, and,
Yeah.
okay, cool, because we really shouldn't vote on ultimatums, we should. This is what it's gonna be.
Yep. Crack the whip.
All right, anything else?
That's it.
Motion
All right,
to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn and motion to have a great holiday, guys.
Yes,
Second
you
that.
are.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.